Hi, I'm Judy and today I'm going to be showing you how to work the provisional cast on. So I'm going to show you how to work the first section of the trainer sock version of the Kolokitha sock. We start with a provisional cast on, holding the stitches on a spare piece of yarn, and then eventually turning over to make this lovely smooth turnover without an edge. We then go on to short row shaping for the heel tab. So I use a version of the German short row shaping, and it just makes a really lovely smooth transition of stitches over to the other side. We'll then go on and work the wrap and turn heel, which gives a lovely diagonal heel, but I've taken the stitches further deeper into the instep. Because this is a trainer sock, it just gives it a really nice fit and avoids slippage when wearing the sock. So let's get started with the provisional cast on. I'm going to use the crochet provisional cast on method, where you crochet some stitches directly onto the needle. So for this you need a contrast yarn, a crochet hook, and the crochet hook's a similar size to the needles that you're going to be using. A set of DPNs, or a circular needle if you're using the magic loop method. You may need a stitch stopper, a needle stopper as well, is that what they're called? Just because you're going to be putting so many stitches onto the first needle and you don't want them falling off the end. You'll need your main yarn, so this is for the sand on the Alunda socks, and you need a pair of scissors. So let's just get started. You're going to start the provisional cast on by grabbing your contrast yarn. You make a slip knot, so wrap around the index finger, through the loop, give it a tug and pop it onto the crochet hook. Okay. Now we pick up our knitting needle and we put it on top of the working yarn. So the working yarn is underneath the knitting needle and your crochet hook is sitting across your knitting needle. Let me just zoom in so that you can see better. So your working yarn's underneath your needle, your crochet hook's on top with the loop on the crochet hook. And you're going to build up a series of stitches onto this needle using a basic chain stitch across the needle. So we go around the crochet hook, pull a loop through, and then tuck that working yarn behind the needle. And you've got one stitch on your knitting needle, you've got your loop still on your crochet hook, you've got that working yarn underneath your needle. And we just carry on doing that. Yarn over, pull through, working yarn behind your needle. Yarn over, pull through, working yarn behind your needle. Yarn over, pull through, working yarn behind your needle. Yarn over, pull through, working yarn behind your needle. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches on your needle, 1 stitch on your crochet hook, and you just continue to do that until you have the correct number of stitches on your knitting needle. In my case this is 56, so I will stop the video just now and come back to you when I've got my 56 stitches on the needle, and I'll show you where to go from there. I've now cast on 53 stitches, so I've got 3 more to do to make up my 56. I've got them along my needle. I'm going to pop on a stopper. It's not really as important for me on only 56 stitches, but if you've got 64 or 72 stitches, you might be better just to do that. So I've got 3 more stitches to do. So yarn over, pull through, yarn behind, yarn over, pull through, yarn behind, yarn over, pull through, and you can just leave the yarn there, drop your knitting needle, and to finish off this section you just have to chain 3 or 4 additional stitches. So 1 over, 2, yarn over, 3, yarn over, 4. Okay, we cut the working yarn. Just pull your crochet hook through, but don't pull it through too tight. So you've got your 56 stitches, or your 64 or your 72, and a little chain at the end. Using our main shade, we're now going to pick up these stitches, and we're going to just knit as normal, but I'm going to knit directly onto my 4 separate needles. So in my case, 14 stitches on each needle. So just as normal, just knitting, nothing different just because it's a crochet on, knitting all the stitches up. So remembering just to leave that little crochet tail at the bottom there, and that will unzip the stitches when it comes to picking up the provisional cast on. So there we are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This little tail's getting in the way. 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, and then 14 onto a new needle. And we just carry on like that until all the stitches are knitted around, and then we join in the round. So I'm now just going to lay my needles down and try to straighten out the stitches a little bit. So once you've straightened out your stitches, make sure none of them are twisted. We're just going to join in the round. a nice pull so that there's no gap there. And just continue to knit as normal after you've joined in the round to close up that gap. If you're using a small circular, remember and mark that first stitch for the beginning of the round. And we just continue going round and round and round. So for my size, I have to do 10 rounds. I think for the two larger sizes, it's 12 rounds. So if you just continue to go round, and then I will meet you on the other side. When you've completed your 10 or 12 rows, you should have something that looks a bit like this. You've still got your waist yarn on for your provisional cast on, which we're not ready to do anything with that yet, because we first of all have to do the shaping for the tab heel for the trainer sock. So I'll do that in a separate video, and I hope you can join me then. Bye for now.